Hey, this is Finbro, the founder of Nathan Classic, and welcome to episode 2 of Nathan Classic History. If you have not already seen part 1 of this series, make sure you watch it so you're familiar with the events surrounding the creation of this server. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at notable events from the early parts of Nathan Classic's existence, and examine how they have shaped the community that we have today. Thousands of players have come and gone over the years, and with that, projects started, friendships born, and memories made. I will try to cover as much as possible in this episode given the time frame of events that we are looking at. If you think I left something important out, definitely let me know in the comments and I'll try to sneak it into a subsequent video. With the help of our subreddit history, I'll be able to trace some of these events chronologically and give you all a historical perspective on how things took place. Without further ado, let's get started. Part 1. Humble Beginnings. In the summer of 2014, Nathan Classic was a very small collective of members, mostly consisting of my core friend group mentioned in the first video. Now that a server existed where we could play together the way we wanted to in peace, we all were excited to get working on our creative builds left over from Nathan IT, as well as getting to work on establishing a new survival map. We generated a new map for survival since we were not able to recover the old one from Nathan IT. At this point, I had very little experience building a map suited for multiplayer, so I created a makeshift spawn to give everyone a starting point for the new map. I also generated a new super flat hub world where players would be able to spawn in and be greeted with welcome messages and the server's rules. Both the hub and the survival spawn builds would eventually be replaced with new, prettier looking builds, but the old ones served their purpose well at the time. Once we had a basic framework in place, it was time to start recruiting and building a community to be proud of. Part 2. The Rise and Fall of Roma. We started getting lots of players in once we felt ready to make the switch to a public 24/7 server. Hundreds came and went as we began our growth, some contributing some truly amazing builds, others just leaving a lasting impact on our community. In that first cycle of the server, not many of the players were quite as impactful as the Ria Cordra, also known as Roman. In the early days, most of us just stuck to our own projects and builds. Friends would collaborate on certain things, but at times the community just felt separate and distant. Then one fateful day, a new player logs in and begins to roleplay as a Roman dictator, to the bemusement of those of us who were online. The new player spent some time looking for the perfect place to start his settlement, and got the early proceedings going for what would become a powerful empire. He began to recruit some of us to help with tasks and contribute to his vision, all with the Roman society roleplay going very strong. For those of us who joined him, including me, Zarek, and Doroklu, and also a few others who were already established on the server, it was a fun break from the status quo of solo building, and helped us develop a strong community, all while enjoying Minecraft in a totally new way. Soon, in what seemed like the blink of an eye, the Roman Empire was the most populous and imposing group on the survival map. Factions began to surface, including a strong pirate faction to rival the Roman Empire. Battles were heating up between the two groups, and the server's activity was steady day in and day out for a pretty good period of time. It seemed like almost everyone on the server had a hand in the arms race in some way at the time. It was nothing like the server had ever seen before. Then, one day amongst the pomp and circumstance, a ban was issued that completely changed the course of these events. Roman brought in many friends to the server to help his cause, and each one appeared to have their own house in the Roman settlement at the time. I was looking around the Roman settlement recently, just reminiscing about the old days. I came upon an old house of one of his friends, Charbut59, and I discovered that he was banned. The only reason given being, "You're an idiot." I'm not sure who would have issued this ban. I typically provide valid reasons for a ban in the comments. This still remains a mystery, And the unfortunate part is all of Roman's friends vanished from the server after that, lastly including Roman, who was gone forever only a week after the ban occurred. Some of us have tried to find Roman to see what he's been up to, but to no avail. His Reddit account went inactive, and there has not been a discernible trace of him found online ever since. It has now been over 2 years since this has happened. Today, his settlement stands as a monument to our community, and a reminder to all of us what kind of great things can be accomplished when we just work together. Roman, if you're out there somewhere and this message gets to you, we really miss you, man. We hope you're okay. You were a shining example of what this community is all about. Part 3, the City Project. After the effective disappearance of the Roman Empire, the server's activity took a major hit. Interest was waning, and a lot of people went back to their solo building ways. I knew something had to be done to rekindle the interest in the community, and I felt we had really struck gold with Roma. I needed to recreate the magic of what that place was about, while bringing a fresh idea to the server, something new and out of the ordinary. I decided that I would begin a massive modern city project on the creative map. I needed something new and challenging to work on, as most of my builds had been medieval themed prior to this point. I also used this as a vehicle for recruiting new players, which worked pretty well at the time. Though some came and went just like before, I was able to snag quite a few fun and committed members who still come by these days. However, not everything about this had worked out for the best. I recruited a young player who had lots of building talent and an interest in modern architecture, thinking he would be a nice addition to my building team and the server in general. For a while, things worked out fairly well, and he seemed to get along amicably with me as well as the community at large. It was not long after this that we started having issues, and I really had to flesh out some of the rules on the server to account for certain player behaviors. This player I was talking about, named It's Daraj at the time, caused a lot of issues with the community, including profanity-laden arguments while staff were not present, leading up to framing other players for ban-worthy offenses. I really struggled with this experience, and in hindsight, I definitely gave this player too many chances. I knew he was a young kid, and he proved to be an asset for us not only for his building skills, but also his ability to stay active and keep people playing on the server. However, I had to draw the line when he cussed out a new player on the server for no apparent reason, and he has been banned ever since. He ended up being banned 3 times on the server, appealing bans twice before receiving an irrevocable ban for the final time. He was given more chances than any other player on the server, before and since. This experience is infamous for a lot of longtime members, and it really opened my eyes to the unseen struggles of owning a server and running a public community. He left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, and I wonder what our community would have been like had I been more firm about his actions. There can really be a fine line between maintaining a server's integrity and keeping people interested and active any way I can. Since then, Daraj changed his name a handful of times, and some popular Reddit threads were made about him, urging other server owners not to trust this player or allow him to play on their server. I've mostly finished my modern city and have moved on to other projects, but I look back fondly on some of the good memories that we had building this. Despite some of the struggles of this era, we had some truly amazing builds come out of it, and I will never forget them. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you've enjoyed this series up to this point. In the future, I'm going to be taking a look at the community from the past year or so, and I'd be interested in doing some other videos focusing on important builds, maybe getting some player interviews as well. As always, make sure you give this video a like, and if you enjoy this kind of content, please subscribe to my channel. I've had a great time making these videos, and I hope they've been educational to everyone about our server's past, both for new and veteran players alike. That's all for now. See you guys next time.